Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vanity Fair. My name is Chris Farah, and I am very excited to talk to you about a little show called 90 Day Fiancé. Honey, it's before the 90 days. It's season 8. It's episode 15. Mayday, Mayday. Yeah, I mean, this is the worst flight possible. This is scary. This is the kind of flight that when you board a flight, you think about, and then you have to take an Ativan. It's the worst possible case scenario. Here's the thing. I want marriages to work, and I want love relationships to work, and I want you to travel from point A to point B safely. And yet, that's not the way it works all the time. I think it's absolutely safer to travel by plane than it is if you don't want to get your heart broken and you try your luck in love. But at the same time, that's the risk. No risk, no reward. I don't know. Here's the thing. I am very excited to talk about this episode, and I have pictures galore. And it's interesting because, like, when it comes to Laura and Berkan, we haven't had them in a second. When they came back on screen, at first I was like, nah, nah, I'm good. Uh, this couple is so weird, and I don't understand the point because, like, and I was actually going to start with them, but let's start with Laura and Berkan. Okay. A lot of fodder has said this. She very much acts like she is in a romantic fantasy. She's obviously an erotica writer. And she has had moments where she trips up and lets us know that she's living in a fantasy land. She wants Birkan to be like a provider protector who's like a hot, kind of like maybe dark souled, but like deep in love with her guy. And she also wants Michael to come somehow realize that he's let the love of his life leave him, and he's left to the devices of coming and getting her and bringing her back like a caveman to America. She like has this fantasy that these two men, I think, are going to like fight over her, and she's going to be this damsel in between, like, no, Birkan, no, Michael, no, I hate it. Oh, I hate the idea of two men that I have literally made meet when they would never want to meet. Like, Michael, I brought Michael here. Michael wouldn't have to. Here's the thing. Why is Michael there? In the beginning, we're like, Michael loves her. Or B, he's worried about her. Or C, which is true, she's making it seem like she could be, being taken advantage of by someone who is a gambling addict, blah, blah, blue. Michael shows up with like all of the airs of her older brother or father who would be like highly protective of her. And then as we go on, we remember that like they've known each other for like a year and a half. It's just so interesting what is happening with them and why he would spend money to come to a country for someone, he doesn't love. So as we start, it's awkward, right? And they're making it seem more awkward, the producers. There's bad music. Michael is full, again, Ned Flanders energy, like taking every morsel of coal being thrown his way by Birkan. And those pieces of coal being thrown his way are either verbal daggers or just the energy and looks that he's getting. He's transforming all of those negative reactions to him into like very positive, light-filled, almost too jovial responses. He's very like, well, I'm just so happy to be here. Okay, well, let's see what this relationship's like. And Birkan, of course, is like, do you like violence? Now, at this point, Birkan's still being awkward, and Michael's like, well, I have 2 gifts for you. And Laura's like, great, I love gifts. I love when men give me gifts. So then he gives her a copy of her book. Okay. Maybe it's like the one that's released recently and she didn't get it, or I don't know. Okay. And the second thing is more packing cubes. Packing cubes. He had given her packing cubes before. She loved them. Guess what? He brought more. Nothing says romance like packing cubes. Now, at this moment, we're supposed to be like, wait, is Beercon still jealous? It could have been anything. Could you imagine me like, I got you two presents, and one of them is packing cubes on a trip you're already on? No lingerie, no flower, no weird poem, no like sentimental gift from their inside joke, no pickleball ball. It's just, uh, mm. Okay. So then it kind of like picks up where Beercon, I think, gets somewhat charmed by these gifts and somewhat charmed that Michael isn't being mean, isn't being aggressive. And it's like, well, okay, never mind. I'll do a 180. And guess what? I'll show you around my city. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, let's get in the taxi first and let's talk about baseball versus soccer. Riveting conversation. We'll get your hotel checked in and then, I'll take you on the town, honey. Let me show you my city. And we're like, oh my God, yes, honey. The bazaars, maybe museums, maybe like historical stuff, like so many things, like Michael's first day. But his city, Beercon City, is a shisha lounge. That's where he's mayor. So of course he does take him to a shisha lounge, and we get a lot of great information. So Beercon at this point either A, senses that there's no threat in this conversation and in their relationship, and then becomes like an open book, or of course the producers are leading this all on. Basically, Michael's like, here's the problem. I got told some crazy things, and that's why I'm here. And then he's like, Laura, does he know what we talked about? And Laura's like, the debt? Yeah, we talk about it. And so we get the same story, which of course, Beercon had 3 shisha places, and then Corona happened. It's just always weird. It's like, I forgot that we call it coronavirus or Corona, almost to the point where like, I understand that this is obviously like a little tangential, but here we are. In the first couple of months of like the coronavirus COVID epidemic, we called it coronavirus for sure, or the novel corona, like the novel virus or something like that. You just kept hearing the verbiage over and over again, the novel virus. And I feel like at one point we were like, that's so pretentious. Can we just say COVID? It's fucking COVID or COVID-19. We don't even say 19 anymore. Now it's just COVID. It's all COVID. COVID-1, COVID-2, COVID-3. Anyway, so he gives him the story. He had all those places. Corona hits. He loses all those places. Then he can't find any sort of jobs, and he sells all his stuff, and he's still in $50,000 debt, but it's all from the shisha places and definitely not from gambling. Now, he just makes money from gambling, and we're supposed to believe he just gets even. If you remember early on, he was like, I'm gambling to like pay the debt. But I think he said he started with $50,000 in debt. So the gambling has not made a dent. So I guess we're supposed to believe that he's making just enough to live sometimes. Now, Michael has more than 1 cent. And so he's like, you can't like make a living gambling. Now, I said this, of course you sort of can, and that is like if you want to like get your fiduciary licenses and become like a whole stockbroker and hope like or a wealth manager or a portfolio manager. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of what that is, but of course, different training and different research. But and it's interesting because Beercon is wildly confident in himself. He's like, I have a whole system. Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing. I do it well. And it's like a little bit like, okay, if that is the case, if you were, don't get mad at me, but like you already told us that you don't have a place to live. You've been sleeping on people's couches. You haven't made a dent in the $50. Sorry. You have not made a dent in the 50K debt. So What exactly is your system? And how confident are you in it really? And why are you so confident in it? And can it use some tweaking? Just I don't know. You tell me. Okay. So then Beercon's like, you know what? Thanks for asking me some questions. Got some coming your way. Why didn't you two fall in love with each other? And it's weird because, you know, Michael had made a comment like, two people that fall in love should be best friends. And the best friends would know each other because they hang out all the time. And so they all, best friends, if you hang out all the time, you'll go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. Just like Laura and I, we get up at 4 a.m. and we play pickleball. And then we both run 30 miles. And then we get into a kayak and we kayak 40 miles. And then we have a cup of coffee. And then I leave her be because I do not want to touch her. What? So yeah, after Michael says this whole thing about being best friends, and Beercon's like, okay, why aren't you guys together? The editing goes like this. Nothing happens. She's like, it's a weird question to ask. And then they are not in the shisha place anymore. They just leave that place. And next scene is that boy timer happening. And then Michael and Beercon are like playing pool. And at this point, Beercon's like, yeah. Remember that question I just asked you in the other scene that didn't get answered? Producers? What a weird cut. Okay, so then Michael has to be like, you don't have to worry about me. And Beercon's like, yeah, here's the thing. I mean, if you want her, go get her. And he's like, yeah, I don't. Oh, if I wanted her, I would have had her. If I wanted her, she wouldn't be here. I had my opportunity. Oh, Beercon, Laura threw herself at me in a way that is undeniable. We're like, what did she do? What did she do? Did she just like have a zipper dress and then just unzipper the entire thing and then let it drop to the floor with her like naked body? And it was there like a shining spotlight on her and she was like, take me, honey, take it, I'm yours. I'm like, what? I like want to know, like, was there a moment that they were playing pickleball and she like grazed his thigh accidentally and he's like, that's it, undeniable? Or yeah, was she just like drunk one night and she was like, take me, get it, take it, and he just was like, no, I'm scared. It's really weird, and I mean this in a fucked up way, to be like, I could have had her, but I'm gonna make your life a living hell. And I'm definitely gonna put a lot of effort into her. When Michael says that he could have had her, but he didn't want her, he's also like, not didn't want her, but he's like, this is how he says it. I could have had it. She threw a pass at me. I told her that I couldn't reciprocate. Why are you here? And like, how can you spend so much time with someone who has like made a pass at you and you're not into them? Why are you there then? Is her like affection for you like, yeah, and does it feed your ego? Are you lying to yourself and you do want to be with her? Are you playing hard to get? Why would Laura want to continue to spend time with someone that much if she has feelings for him and she made it clear and he wasn't into it? I mean, I'll just be honest, like, I couldn't. If you're my friend, like if we're hanging out and we have like common interests, and this has happened to me where like I felt like someone and I are like really gelling and we hang out and this person is calling me and they want to talk and they want to hang out with me, like all that stuff. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Feels like you like me. Do you want to like go out? Yeah, like that. I've had a time where like someone was like, no, I'm not into you that way. And I sure as hell never spent one fucking more morsel of a moment time talking to that person. No. Why? Because here's the thing. I'm not saying people can't be friends. It's like people can be friends if like that line isn't crossed and like no one likes the other one, enough to like make a move. But if like someone feels like there's a chemistry and a vibe and they say something about it and the person denies it, I mean, yeah, I guess it may be a stronger person to be like, "Oh, okay, then let's go back to being friends. That's fine. You don't want to you vibe with me this much. Like your connection is this loose and this fun and like this familiar, but you can't be with me because why? I'm not your type or you think that you are going to be with someone else." It's that what is like wittier or you have a better banter or better chem? Is that what you're like holding on for? Or are you holding on for like a physical specimen that's different from me that you then hope will have this connection that you're what I guess more attracted to? Like now, I do have like a rejection dysphoria for sure. But I need you to tell me like how does that work? It's just I don't know, it's just like it doesn't make sense to me. So at the same time, this does feel heavily produced. Emma also feels heavily produced. God, I wish that I didn't say that because I wish that I could just like live in a world of it not being so heavy-handed, but it feels so contrived, like the setups of things. Like, yeah, the Laura Michael setup with Berkan feels, yeah, fake. But the Emma thing, honey, let's get into it. So we pick up on Emma. She's 10 minutes to go see Muhammad. She is driving through Casablanca, honey. And she has a monologue where she's like, guess what? I still have my old ring. And I just like have it on me, but also like have it on me, literally, like on my finger. It just feels good. Like, oh my God, girl. Did you have that? First of all, how expensive is that ring? And did you get that ring like looked at? Did you buy that ring? She makes it seem like she has to pay for all her men. Okay. So then she goes to a cafe, honey. And at the cafe, there's a nice gentleman. He's like, do you want something to drink? And she's like, nope, nope, I'm going to wait for my guy. And then she texts him that she's there. She sends a picture of the table she's at. And she sees that he's online and he doesn't write back. So she calls him, like I'm assuming that's WhatsApp. He doesn't respond. So then the guy comes back and she's like, I need a cappuccino. And then Muhammad, who I guess looking back, it was a little shady that we didn't know what his face looked like. Didn't seem like I think Matt or Jake of Reality Gaze were like, he probably would have signed off that release. We would have seen that face if he ever made it on screen. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's right. So anyway, so sitting there, honey, and she's beautifully at this gorgeous cafe with like nice waiters and a Bottega bag. Kind of look at the weave, look at the gold hardware. It's white. Um, Suddenly she gets a text from Mohammed and it says, leave me alone. I don't want to see you anymore. I have a fiance. And it has like an emoji. And I want to talk about what the emoji is because it took me a long time. And I'm still kind of being like, let's talk about this. She's pissed as hell because she's like, you told me to come here. And I think the emoji, and I don't know for 100% sure, I try to blow it up. It looks like the emoji has a blueness to it, which would make sense if it was a smiley face with like one of the tears kind of either coming out of the eye or crying and tears coming out. One of those. She's like, you invited me to this cafe. Why are you not going to show up? So here's two things. Yeah, why? If it's real, then he was what fucking with her because what he knew there was a camera crew and he just hates her that much that he wanted to make her look bad, like or wanted to like shame her, like in like a fucked up kind of high school way. Or B, this is set up by the producers because they don't even need him. All they would need is the promise of some dude. They have to blur a face and then just have to what? Get a production assistant on WhatsApp to text her at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm upset. And the reason why I'm upset is because, yeah, I was tricked. I was sharped. It would have been so fun. And I get like we've had the trope of like a second hurrah. Like that's basically what happened to Vanya, right? Like in a different way, because Vanya had met obviously Bozo off, online, met Bozo, and then like that didn't work out. And then met a new dude there, and that was the second round of her being like in a relationship abroad. And of course, Emma Mohammed is, was supposedly the person she met before Zayed. So I really would have enjoyed like a continuation and for us to meet Muhammad or whatnot. And the fact that we don't meet him, yeah, definitely makes me feel like it was all fake. Fraud. I really feel that way. I'm upset. You can't do that to me. I don't deserve it. Okay, I'll tell you what I deserve. Wet dogs. Elise and Josh, or as Elise is now calling him, Joshua. Elise and Joshua. This dog, honey, is like me looking at look at this dog, honey. Elise and Josh's whole segment, the whole actual episode starts with like a bunch of dogs frolicking on a beach, and I'll say frolicking a lot. They're wet, they're having fun. They're like poodles. I don't know if there's like a dog walker, if they're random Australian dogs, just mutts in a water, honey. But this dog staring into camera is exactly me staring at the producers, being like, how much longer do I have to deal with this? I mean, I wonder like how many production teams there are right now on Sharp Productions. And I wonder if there's like the A team and the B team. I wonder if there are producers for 90 Day Fiancé that are known as being a little more natural or allowing like natural storylines to happen. I don't quite understand why they have to be so heavy-handed. I mean, I guess I do. It's for the drama or whatever. And certainly they're not the only ones to do so, but sometimes sometimes I think in the beginning, was it always like this or was it just newer and so I wasn't so savvy? Or again, did they like blow their load, season 2 and now we're like, season 8 and we have to like make the puppets do the dance. I mean, I'm not quite sure. But you tell me. So Elise is not doing well. Those dogs not doing great. Elise also spiraling. The apartment's messy and she hates it. She hates that it's messy. She's like, it's a frat house in here. You can imagine what it smells like. There's stuff everywhere. There's not a clean towel to be had. There's no more paper towels. There's no toilet paper. There's like, gross hair, like pube hair, like in the shower. There's about maybe like 2 tablespoons of milk left in a carton, and she doesn't even know if like they've been drinking it whole. Like the toilet seat is always up and there's just pee everywhere. She hates it. But she wakes up, and this is of course like the morning after the whole Nat debacle, and Joshua is nowhere to be found. He has just left her a text like, I'm out. I'll be back soon. And she's not happy. She's like, I want to leave. This isn't great. She's like texted him like, where are you? He just hearted it. She can tell he's being weird. She starts crying. The producers are there. And then, honey, he walks in the door. He takes one look at them tears and he walks right back out. Walks right back out. Now, I'm going to tell you this right there. I don't know how I would get over it. If I'm like, and I watch someone walk in, see me, clock me, and be like, oh no. No. It's interesting because it's easy to see like from a third party. And I'm not saying Elise is perfect and I'm not saying Josh is perfect, but you can really tell how he doesn't want to fucking deal with her. This is really early on. If I was emotionally upset and crying and someone's first opportunity to show me they care about me or like is even surprised that, I'm in an emotional state. Like, if that person doesn't give me any care, I think it's a really bad sign. And he immediately, his first reaction is to get the fuck out, is to run away. So anyway, he was like, whoa, what happened? I can't do that accent. She's like, why did you just walk away when you saw me crying? He's like, yeah, I just saw you crying and I thought she needs some space. Also, just I need some space. You saw me crying and you thought, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. You didn't think, oh my God, is my loved one okay? It's just so telling that he knew that the reason why she was crying wasn't important to him. It wasn't important. His his own well-being, his own comfort level is more important. And I think, yeah, I think it's a great thing to know. Almost, I'm like, I don't want to pull Elise, but is that something I should do? Should I try and fake cry early on in a situationship or whatever and just see how they react? It can't be a fake cry after a situation where they think I'm mad at them because the Nat thing happened. It's I'd have to do a fake cry and just see how they react to emotion. Anyway, yeah. Sometimes I feel like you do have to test people early on. Okay, why do I say that? I'll say it. Some people lead with intention and openness and directness and honesty, and you can feel that when it's happening. And I think that when you feel that, there's a certain amount of ease and comfort and oh, great. And I also think that there's oftentimes a murkiness and someone being not clear or not, their actions are not aligning with their words. And that type of person will waste your time unless you test them. Test them. Don't let people waste your time. Honestly, I'm not talking about 1 week. I'm talking if someone has shown a pattern of being a little unclear, find a way to see if this person is being real with you. Because yeah, I think that people just want to buy time without showing their cards. And the not showing their cards in romantic relationships is really shitty. Sure, if you're Berkan, you don't want to show your cards, especially if you're gambling. But the point of being in a relationship, I think, is emotional vulnerability and openness and to connect. And I think the way you do that is showing your cards, is being truthful about what you want and being able to communicate, and also having respect for, both parties involved. Yeah. So to me, Josh doesn't respect her at all. Now, here's the thing. I can say that now. It's hard though when you're in it. And she, I think, feels it. But here's the thing. Let's move on and then I'll get to her parent conversation. I think it's really interesting. So, he, was gone. She's like, "Are you at Nat's?" And he was really upset by that. He paused when he answered. Do you guys notice that? She's like, "Were you at Nat's?" And he was like, "No." Then he's like, "No, my job called and they want me to do a boat thing, but I won't do the boat thing. So I said no, and I got to drop in the keys." We're like, "Oh, I thought you were fired from your job or you're on a probation." Only if you're fired and or on probation from your job, either one. I'm assuming that if your job calls you and you want work again, you would have to do what they're saying. I mean, I don't know. How are you on probation and the job's do this thing? You're like, "Nah." Are you still with that job? Doesn't make any sense. Also, would a job want you to drive a boat to a new place if you're the type of person that's gonna fucking willy-nilly take a boat and joyride around like a 12-year-old? I mean, what? I don't believe it. So then they go surfing and that part happens, and then they go get sandwiches, and I agree with Elise that I do hate fish. That's fine. She's like, "What's chicken schnitzel?" I'm like, "Girl, come on." So they get 2 chicken sandwiches, and we find out that Australian people don't refer to ketchup as ketchup. Honey, they call it tomato. Just kidding, they call it tomato. which is interesting because there's also tomatoes. So, like, honest, like, this is where it's weird to me. I'm like, that chicken sandwich could have a slice of tomato. And then if you also wanted to have ketchup, are you like, "Hey, can you give me that sandwich with tomato? I want a sandwich with tomato and tomato." And would that person know, okay, one slice of tomato and a side of ketchup? um, honey, tomato, ketchup. I'm just kidding. Okay. We get a piece of information. Josh has a son, and he was real busy taking care of that son. Uh-huh. And the son has a mom, and the mom's gotten remarried. Uh-huh. And the mom's and like so the son and the mom and has a brand new family. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that's who's usually probably taking care of him. And they decide that because Josh isn't shit, that they have no need for him and they're gonna move away. They're gonna, move at least an hour plane ride because it's better for the family, which Josh is not a part of. And Josh is like, "Yeah, when that happened, it made me, spiral and, it's been really hard." And this is something that Elise has to really hear because Elise then is like, "Oh, don't worry about that one. I was also upset I spiraled." And we're like, "No, bitch. What he's saying is he is in a downward trajectory and he's telling you that he doesn't have his life together, that he's drinking and partying all the time because he's like massively depressed." And then he's like, "But also I'm working on myself, so you don't have to worry about it." And it's like, "Nope. You're not working on yourself. You don't have a place to live. You don't have a job. You have a Chris. And not even a me. Not even a Chris Farah. Someone fun that has a podcast that you should give 5 stars to and talks about dumb television shows and did a 2 parts of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drama. It was heavily triggered by that because of her own past issues. But like, that's not even what he has. He has a Chris. That Chris just works out with him. It has tattoos. And it's interesting because this moment happens where he, you know, gets the chicken with her. They go back to the place. She's still in hell because it's so dirty. He's like, "Okay, bye. I'm going to go hang out with my best friend, Chris." Ha ha ha. And he's like, "Chris, she keeps fucking talking about how broke I am." I hate it, Chris. She keeps saying that I'm not stable and broke and living off of my friends, and it's really emasculating. Now, two things can be true. It is emasculating because, you know, you don't got your masculine shit together, if that's what you're saying. But the second thing is that Elise definitely has a fixation on your financial situation or lack thereof. And Elise has no problem like repeatedly pretty much asking you, and I mean this, "Why are you poor?" Like, that's kind of like every part of her argument. Like, why would you live with Nat? Why would you let Nat like have financial like, help for you? Like, why are you living with Chris now? Like, why? Like, she just keeps asking him that. And I feel like what she again is she's just like, "Why are you so poor? Why are you poor? Why don't you have a dad that's going to help you? Tell me why you're poor. Tell me why you choose to act like a poor person that has no money. Why are you shaming yourself by allowing women to pay for you? Why do you have like a shitty job? And why are you bad at your shitty job enough to have, you know, a probation on your shitty? Like, why are you not good as a man with money?" Like, that's kind of like what her vibe is. And I don't want to say man with money, but it's like because he says emasculating and kind of because she's like, you can tell that they're a little traditional. Okay, so that's the LOLs part of me is that she literally is like, she's making him feel so bad. And he like tells Chris, it's like, "Yeah, she's, I don't know if I can deal with her making me feel bad." And it's like, well, do other women do this too? Like, I just want to know, like, you said you had a girlfriend before her. This was like your trauma before the whole kid thing was that you had a girlfriend that wanted you to make more money. And that was really, upsetting toward you. And I think that Joshua knows that his lifestyle is like not exciting for a serious woman or a serious partner. Sure, two, like, buff Australian guys with, like, aging faces could be somewhat fun now, but I mean, there seems to be, like, an absolute almost like Laura style fantasy land for Josh, right? Like, what does he think is gonna happen? Does Josh think that someone like Elise can be happy the way that she looks with whatever he can provide, which is 2 chicken sandwiches on the beach? He's upset, right? He's like, they're gonna start talking about, she's like, "I don't wanna be used, I had this situation." She tells us the whole situation. 2 things. She had a situation where she got financially abused by, like, some con man, right? And her parents had to, like, help her out, and that's why she's also like, "I don't trust, men to not use me," and she, like, accuses him of maybe using her and for money, and he's like, "I haven't made you pay for one thing," and she's like, "Oh, really? Yeah, I guess I didn't pay for the goldfish crackers, great. Also, why would I pay for you running me to some bar for some stupid race, and, like, what do you think I'm gonna pay for?" Anyway, God bless. So, it's like, I'm sorry. I looked down at something and he is upset about that. And she, of course, then gives us another piece of information, which is that her past isn't just this one con man. We've known that she has been engaged a bunch of times. She's really excited about that. We start to see pictures. She's like, the first guy that I was into, and we see her like a picture from her past, we're like, oh girl, there's our girl. Oh my God, Elise, honey, Elise. Elise has always had great hair. She's also always loved a tan. Elise, of course, yeah, definitely got a nose job and definitely got like that Botox made her like, eyebrows like, higher. God bless. She got a lot done. Um, she tells us a really sad story. Like, she fell in love with this dude. She moves to Florida. They get engaged, and he passes away. And she says it's from issues she had no idea about, which sounds like drugs, right? Sounds like a hidden drug problem, or I guess it could be like someone unliving themselves because of depression. Either way, obviously, really tragic and really horrible. And she also is like, that's another reason why I don't trust men. So as he's working out with Chris, she goes and gets juice at a place called Cali Press Juice, which I was really excited about. And she calls her parents, Woody and Beth, and they're like, well, how's it going? And she's like, oh, well, honey, I caught him in lies. Now, at this moment, we're like, oh gosh, this is what's going to happen. Like, her parents going to be like, no, Elise, you can't trust him. Come back. But that's not what happens. She's like, I caught him in a lie. He said he was living with his parents. He's living with Nat. They're like, you know what, girl? We know you and you love to pick out the flaws. What are some good things about him? And she's like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, Elise. Okay. What are some positive things about your relationship that you don't just like focus on all the bad things? And she's like, oh, well, I can tell he's obsessed with me. He made his wallpaper me without me asking. Which, LOL. Now, here's the thing. It is flattering for someone to make your wallpaper you without asking. I think that he truly is like eh, understandably attracted to her physically, and like a wallpaper of like one of her Instagram pictures, surely is hot, and he can just like be out in a boot, and then like, someone sees a lock screen, they're like, who's that? He can be like, mine. Now, I don't know, because of everything I said earlier about how he reacted to her emotional state, if he, of course, is actually into her. In fact, if I was to throw something out there, I would say, from what I'm seeing, like, only physically. He's not asked her about, like, her past relationships. Like, this story of like, this really tragic story about her ex that passed away. Think about if that story was told to us through her telling him in a scene where she would have opened up, maybe because he would have asked, like, something. She would have opened up. He would have listened and sat with her, shared space as she told this story, and there would be like a different level of their relationship, but we have never seen that. She tells this story in a confessional as like a reason why. Does he even know it? Anyway, then then her parents, really her dad, says something very insightful. When it comes to like being with someone in the first couple of weeks, why don't you try discovering more and judging less? Discover more, judge less. And I feel like there's a something I've heard before, like to not be judgmental. Like, can you replace that with an honest emotion of like curiosity? And I think it's really important. I am someone who judges a lot, like, and to try and where you can give yourself space for different types of thinking. Because if you're a negative person or you worry a lot or you judge a lot or like, you're insecure about, relationships, you can get almost in a habit loop of like always thinking the bad thing for sure and always judging and always sort of like being like, is this good? Is this bad? Do they like me because of this? Do they like me because of that? How is their behavior in relationship to other behaviors? Blah, 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 blah. And it's hard, right? Because we're all looking for red flags. And I just got done saying that, like, if someone walked in on me crying and walked out, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. And so, but that's judgmental. And so, yeah, Woody would be like, Chris, why don't you try discovering? It's like, well, I would have to discover why this person ran away from my tears. Just like trying to adjust the way you see a situation from a negative to a positive or a negative to a neutral. Yeah, it's more neutral, right? Like discovering could be good, could be bad. Mostly good though. It's the because there's a when you I guess the word discover almost is like an exciting possibility of like what's here, what's new. But the good thing about discovering something is it feels like you have a propensity to find something and then there's no pressure to have to like keep it or make it meaningful in your life to discover something and then also is easily discard it and let it go, you know, because A, you trust you'll discover something more, or B, because you feel so safe in yourself, your discovery actually is not going to help you, it's going to hinder you. Yeah, as I said, I think it's if you can be mindful and aware of changing like the way that you view certain situations, it's great. And the reason why is because, yes, as you get older, you just sort of do the same things over and over again. And I think that like growth can happen, obviously, when you approach things differently. And it's really hard to change like your perception, your thinking, and the way that you do things, the way you see things. I think there's like a really great challenge and also like it's a good challenge to be able to keep yourself positive, but also there's like an ultimate end goal I sometimes have, and that's why I maybe like do the mindfulness stuff and the breath and the stuff I'm talking about now at the end of the day, which is like to control my mind. It's not gonna ever happen for sure. I would love to control my mind. What that means is like my emotional state, my nervous state, my mind. I'd love to be like a Buddhist or someone like like a mindfulness teacher that can just really hone in on separating my emotions from my feelings from my thoughts and trusting that things pass quite easily and quieting a part of your mind if you don't want to hear it. That would be great. That's why mindfulness is very important and I think that like if you can exert control over your mind in every way or if you can practice that, if you can practice the discipline of training your thoughts and or making your thoughts neutral and positive if they are negative, like it's only going to serve you and your circumstances. Discover more, judge less, or I guess like be curious. Start with curiosity. Let's move on to Rick and Trish, someone I don't want to be curious about. Honey, they're waking up in bunk beds, honey. It's hot. Now we know that he has to take a shower and he's going to make a big to do of it. He's going to go in the shower. He like wants to not wear clothes there. Like he just wants to have a towel. Like, so he runs out naked and then he gets in the shower and then he uses little cups of water to like cool him off. This is what's interesting. How cold is the water? Because it's hot there. Like, so how cold is the water? He makes it seem like the water is like tap freezing from, like pipes in Chicago. He's screaming. She's like, he hates the water. He's a little baby in the cold water. He's like, ah, ah, like, oh my God. Sometimes it's hard because Trish sometimes to me seems like she's over the fuck him. And then sometimes she's like, I really love him. And I'm like, no, why? How? So when he is done showering, her dad is like, let's talk. And she's like, wait a second, 1 second. Hey, babe, we're going to eat some cassava leaves, your favorite, those like bitter cassava leaves you love so much. Can you help these ladies pick them? And these are the same ladies that had to watch him come out in his towel, right? And he uses his hands to, I guess, devein, you know what I'm saying? The leaf. And they're like, his pinky looks like a big thumb. And we're like, babes, his whole demeanor looks like a thumb. He is a thumb. I have never seen a more thumb-like person than he is thumb. He's the thummiest. Come on. I was so happy when they said that. A, because I like body shaming men. And also, yeah, just because of that. Do I like body shaming men? No. But why will I do it? I will body shame a man who my soul and my heart has let me know has body shamed women. I won't punch down to someone who I think hasn't done that. But Rick I feel like, has judged women about their looks before. And so, I mean, my heart of heart is telling me that, so I feel no remorse. Also, he does look like a thumb. So basically, her dad is like, here's the thing. That asshole is indecisive about having kids with you. If you know one thing in this world, it's that you are a goddamn queen. And if you want kids, you get kids. And don't fuck around with some asshole who just wants to have fun with you, who's not serious with you, and who certainly does not care about how you want to live in the future. She's like, yeah, I can't even imagine my life without kids. This is what she kind of says. But I love Rick. And, I have to like talk him into having kids. I have to like convince him. The dad is like, I'm sorry, what? No. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do because if he doesn't want to have kids, like, are you going to make me choose between him and you? And he's like, yes. I'm sorry. I'm going to make you choose between yourself and him. It's not you're choosing between like stupid ass Rick and your family. At the end of the day, if he's not going to give you a basic thing that you want and how you like want to live in your future, then you're choosing between Rick and yourself. Isn't that so sucky? Like, she thinks she loves him. I mean, I can't imagine that that's real. I'm not saying that she doesn't love him, but I can't imagine that what she's feeling is actually love. But she will give up every part of herself if she, of course, decide to be with him, right? We know that. She would like move to America. He's not going to have kids. He's too old. He has the kids. He's just going to be like, take care of them instead. He's just going to like make her push play on his stupid hair lives. And, and like, if she makes him feel inadequate, or I'm sorry, if he feels inadequate at any moment, he's going to take it out on her. And that could easily be cheating on her. And guess what? He's going to feel inadequate. Why? Have you seen Trish? First of all, he's jealous of Trish, like, there, like, get Trish to America and watch the people look at her and then tell me how Rick's going to treat Trish, gorgeous ass, young ass Trish in America. Well, no. He's going to treat her like she owes him. And then if he feels bad about himself, which he will at any time, it's going to be even worse for her. God, there's a moment where it almost feels like her dad knows it. And it's like, he just can't say it by word or name yet because it would seem crazy to be like, this man isn't shit. I don't know. So basically, she's like in a very hard place and we feel for her. It's hard though because I don't understand why she loves him. We don't understand why. She's like, he's a really good man. Because he's nice to you and like says he loves you? I guess, yeah, he just is nice and says that he loves her sometimes. Did she ever get the bathing suit? Remember how she wanted a new bathing suit and he yelled at her about that for asking? I don't know. So we'll see what happens with them. I really, want her to just leave him immediately. Has to happen, and dear God. Okay, so let's move on. Honey, Stig and Aviva. So they are snorkeling and hanging in a hammock, honey. She's wearing an orange bikini with like a light blue border and like a jean textured bucket hat. The jean textured bucket hat is 2002. It is, I mean, it's Haley Duff. It's Hillary Duff. She looks like Hillary Duff. She looks like Haley Duff and Hillary Duff for sure, kind of. It's like so Y2K. I'm dead over it. I love it. I hate it. I hate it. I love it. Would you wear this? Would you wear that hat? Here's the thing. Of course, I would not wear that hat, but I would look crazy in that hat. She is the perfect age where she looks like she's plucked from like my life 20 years ago. That's so crazy. So, Spring, her aunt, has sprung the nest. She's left Belize and like, guess what? None of what she did was important because they're still together and they really didn't get to like prove anything otherwise. Like she literally, Aviva's just like, yeah, I trust him. So thanks anyway for all of that wasted time. Okay, so you're like, okay. They're in the hammock and he's just like, you know what? I love you. She's like, oh, thanks. I love you. She gives him a reaction that's just kind of like, oh, thanks, babe. Are they stoned all the time? I don't know. Like, definitely her reaction isn't like, oh my God, the person I love is saying I love you for the first time. She's like, I'm great. I love you. He's like, it's so great to hear it back. You're like, oh, was that great? Was that a great moment in your life? So then they go to have like a Mayan cooking class. Oh my God, I love this so much. Oh, goodness gracious, how I would love to get really great at making fresh masa corn tortillas. And it's like you have to like use a certain kind of like masa. It's like, I looked it up. Oh no. It's like a masa with a different word in it. Oh, let me look it up again. I'll tell you what it is. Because masa. Bob's Red Mill makes a masa, but there's masa harina. Masenda, if you want to actually do any of this. Yeah, Masenda is really, really good too. There's like, and then do you nixtamalize? So here's the thing. If you've made corn tortillas, you know this. Obviously no gluten. And it was interesting that she said this, yet the Mayans didn't have wheat. And it's because like, wheat was like a whole thing we had to process. God bless. So you take the corn, the corn, you like grind it down, and then you are supposed to put like an acid lime juice or something, and then it becomes with amount of grinding like a yeah, like a doughy kind of pasty dough, if you will. And then yeah, from there we can fry it. We pound it flat and we fry it. And if you care about this kind of stuff, it's important that you get either organic or heirloom corn. That's why what I was saying before, like the names of the kind of like masa subcategories that give you high quality corn tortillas. You know I care about such things. So, besides that though, they have this thing, and this is the funniest part of the entire episode for me. 55 minutes of this recap, let me tell you. So they're like doing the corn, and it's kind of like that thing where, like when someone's going to show you how to play pool, where they come up behind you and then like, they're doing it that way. It's all sexual, like. So she's grinding the corn, and he's like, grinding behind her, and you know what I mean. And they have this perfect shot of this lady, honey, looking on. And I mean, first of all, you can see in front of her, there's like chicken being smoked. And you're like, oh my God, it's chicken over like a fire. You can imagine how good it is. B, her face is judgy. She discovered what she discovered and she's judging it. She's like, that's not how you make a corn tortilla. I don't understand why you both need to push the rock like that. She's not that weak. He's like, let me help you push the rock. She's like, thanks, babe. Then they eat. And I'm happy for them. And then they have a conversation about her period. Now, here's the thing. The entire streets of 90 Day Fiancé have been clocking her confessionals and doing the thing where like she looks different in her confessionals, and she does, look a little different. And so here we are. It's like, have you had your period? And her answer at first was like, I was supposed to, but it hasn't happened yet. But then she says, well, I'm like irregular all the time, so I don't really know, but also it could be happening right now. And then she says the thing that we all love, which I feel like is the producers like made her say this so that it would be like the bridge, where she's like, I thought you literally just got done saying how like you only wanted to use condoms, blah, 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 blah. And now you're like, whatever, okay, if I'm pregnant or whatever. And he's like, yeah. Somehow we're now supposed to believe that he's in love with her, that he's clocked that she hasn't had her period, and that he's like, you know what? Let's hope it's a yes. Let's get that test and let's do it. And she is really thrilled about that. I mean, I guess, and technically it is like a little bit of a fairy tale for her. It's what she wanted, like she's been wanting to have like, full on raw dog sex, and then she wants to be with him and she wants to be married, and she's getting what she wants. Yes, he put the little hiccup in of maybe like using condoms, but he surely now is like, let's shoot up a club. And he wants to make a baby with her. And it probably already did. He's like, yeah, I want you to take a test here before you go back. And I'm like, why is she going back? Why is she going back? To what? A very lucrative job? It seems like you guys are in love. I don't know why it has to be that you moved to America. Why don't you guys just stay here and live your life? He's famous here. Anyway. So, our last couple, my loves, can you believe it? Are Lisa and Daniel. Just boring old Lisa and Daniel. Not much happening there. Okay, so obviously, we are hot on the heels of her having confessed all of her sins. A, the marriages. B, the lesbianism. How much she's been practicing it. A lot. Honey, she's been practicing sleight of hand and lesbianism for a long time. I mean, I'm mad at her for this reason. I would have loved for her to really, really sit in when she was like, we should love who we want to love. You know what? You think I'm evil and I haven't done anything when I've been buying all your clothes? Fuck you. That was her last episode. Unfortunately, she came back around to being like obsessed with him. And he also went from being like, you're evil to being like, but I still want to see if this is going to work because my uncle could forgive you, which makes no goddamn sense. So now they're in a van to go visit the uncle. And she's like, will you speak first? And he's like, yeah, you don't get that you're in Nigeria. Like, you're not supposed to speak at all. You're supposed to A, not be a lesbian, B, have hair, C, never ever talk, and just kneel wherever you're supposed to be kneeling until I tell you to move. And also D, know how to do that head wrap. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, it's like it is telling how far off she is from like the knowledge of the workings of like that kind of culture. Will you speak first? Yeah, girl, they don't care about you. Like they, like you don't have bearing here. You barely need to speak. So then the uncle comes up, honey, in full blown purple and a purple ensemble. Modestus is his name. And basically Daniel has to be like, hey, uncle, hey. So remember when I said it was 2 marriages? Well, let's go ahead and add 3. And remember when I said that she did hook up that one time with a girl, but it was like a lug situation, like lesbian until graduation. That's such like a millennial term. I don't think they even use it anymore. Yeah, that's so, oh my God. They don't, yeah. That's an old term. It's a generational term. Kids are not lugs until graduation, but that was like a whole thing in the 90s. In the 2000s, it's a homophobic thing, but basically it's like saying that girls in college will get drunk, fucked up and drink and like, kiss other girls or whatever, like obviously hook up with girls or whatever. And that it was only until graduation and then they, like graduate and they're like back to dick. But like, of course, we're beautifully in a generation of people like really living their authentic selves. And so I didn't realize how archaic and extinct that term was until just now. That's so funny. Good. Anyway, but I still think it's a funny joke. And so, yeah, they're like, Daniel's like, yeah, I lied. I did say that she was a lug, right? But here's the thing. She didn't just stop at the graduation, honey. She kept practicing it for 20 years. She was a lesbian until retirement. She's a lure. Oh God, it's good. Yeah, she's one of those lures, honey. She retired and then she's like, maybe we'll see what happens now. And she found me. Okay, so now here is where she again does not know her place. And I'm a feminist. I don't want to say she doesn't know her place, but again, she's like in Nigeria, these 2 men, she's lied her fucking balls off. Like she doesn't like every day and every weird thing that's happened is like, know your place, you stay there, let men talk. Like it's just so much of that, and she like hates it so much and she is anti it. Like she is obviously like a progressive person. She has progressive beliefs about at least love or whatever. I don't know what her fiscal beliefs are. I don't want to fucking know. But anyway, so she keeps trying to interrupt everyone to talk and they're like, bitch, shut up. Can I just try to explain myself? No. I yeah. I love that it's so hard for her not to talk. It's just she's so American. The idea of like being told when to speak is like so foreign to her as it should be. But yeah, that's how much she has no idea of the culture her like beloved is from. Okay. Let's just talk about this. I think the whole thing is a scam, obviously. Not a hot take. But I love I don't love the idea. I love the idea of how horrible it is. I think it's a interesting idea that Daniel created all of these barriers and like kind of challenges that she would have to go through in order to make it seem like more special that she did those things and got Daniel in the end, and therefore should be lucky, and therefore shouldn't think about the fact that maybe he's using her, maybe this is a con, because at first she had to get the uncle to say yes, and he had to go to the elders, and then she had to go meet the king that like had a fake looking lion on him. Like all of this seems so fake that I'm like, is this his uncle? Because we know that guy wasn't a king with the Simba stuffed animal on him with the jeweled blue eyes, right? That's a costume. And I'm not even saying, yeah, it's a costume and it's not a king. I feel like the uncle, I feel like that king, I feel like the everything is like Daniel's way of being like, I need her to make sure this is real. I need to make sure that she's preoccupied with the opinions of the elders and the ancestors. It's almost like this way of negging her, of being like, you aren't good enough unless all of these things happen. It's like a special quest to distract her from the fact that like this is all a con, he just wants money. Because if it's like it might make someone feel special to have gone through such trials and tribulations to get the one they love. It's almost like playing hard to get, but instead of like him being like no no no, it's like, well, ask my uncle. And the uncle's like, no, no, no. We'll ask the ancestors. And the answer's like, no. They're like, ask the king. The king's like, no. Ask the elders. The elders, no. Ask my dead mom. No. It's like she keeps having to get other people's approval. And like, therefore, her preoccupation about that isn't so much like the things she had put together before, that he had talked to other Americans, that he was scamming, that he certainly is living a better life with her money now, that that he is enforcing her to not live the way she wants to live and making her feel bad when she should have the power in the situation because she has the money. Whoever makes the goal makes the rules, but like she's not being able to sit in any of that because she constantly has to prove herself to the different entities of his Igbo man life. It's kind of brilliant if you want to fuck someone over. Yeah, it like creates like scarcity almost, or just like it creates the idea that that something is super special you have to work for and work towards, and it might not happen. And so if it does, it seems that's that much more special, and you certainly wouldn't want to fuck it up in any sort of way. It's brilliant. God, I would love to just be like, are you the one? Honey, I don't know. First off, you got to go talk to my cousin, and I actually do have cousins. I think Monique, they had to go talk to Monique, and Monique's like, let me consult the Catholic gods, and Monique like goes to like one of the, Melkite Byzantine chapels that we had to like grow up with. And she like prays to Saint Charbel. These are all real, God bless. And then what, like Saint Charbel has to come through and then be like, yes or no. Then they have to go to my dad, then they have to go to like the priest, the head priest. They have to go to like, if I wanted to fuck over some guy and just made it seem like I was the ultimate prize, specifically in a divine way, and that he had to prove his worthiness to me and the gods at every step, it would be a great thing. Now, you can tell why I'm single. A, I haven't done that, but B, even the thought that I would like to do it, God bless. Okay. The uncle isn't cool with her. It isn't like the uncle's like, oh, you hooked up with a girl, like that happens, like the uncle's real pissed. He's like, you crocodile tears, you keep crying fake tears. And she's not crying fake. It looks real. I mean, I'm seeing water come out. She has a full blown like panic attack. She's like, and it's so interesting because yeah, you can tell that she has obviously issues, and there's no need for her to have such a life or death situation with Daniel. He holds no power over her. They just met in real life. So she also had just shown us a part of her soul where she was like, fuck you. So to go from I'm not evil, I did this for you, and if you don't see it, fine, fuck you, to then being like over the possibility of not being with him in front of his uncle, it's like, well, it's a hard watch. I mean, also like in a easy reality show watch. She is, to me, somehow very authentically having her experience on this show. Like, for some reason, to me, it very much feels like she is authentically in this, and everything we're seeing to her seems real. I'm not saying everything is real, because I think that Daniel, like, sometimes I feel like wants to look at camera and wink. You know what I'm saying? You know that show? Have you guys been watching? Oh, there's like Jury Duty and stuff like that. They have a new season out. It's like an improv show. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's basically like, well, it's kind of like there's like, okay, it's kind of, what was that Jim Carrey movie? Oh no. Okay. Truman's World. It's kind of like Truman's World and kind of like Windy City Heat, whereas one person in a whole production isn't aware of the whole production, right? And it's very funny, like the television show is. But Lisa in this situation seems like the person in a production that does not realize everything is fake. But Daniel does, and definitely his uncle does, and definitely the king with the lion head does, and like all of Matt Sharp's production team obviously knows. It's like, it seems like Lisa is like naive. She really does seem in it. But at the same time, no one else truly feels like we are taking advantage of someone who has like mental issues. And it's interesting because we're hot on the heels of like the whole Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Taylor Frankie Paul situation. And she allegedly, or I'm not a professional, but it seems like she has mental issues or personality issues, one of the two. And I didn't understand, like, the extent until recently or whatever. And it's going to be we can't watch her now. Like, I don't think she's going to be on the show. Like, I can't imagine she's going to continue on the show unless there's some weird PR, come around that she does, like either by going to rehab or how, I'm not quite sure what her situation is truly, but we wouldn't be able to watch her again. And I think that watching Lisa feels a little cringy because it does feel like watching someone who is not quite aware like we all are. So I think like that's why I think I like held my hat on that moment last episode where she was like, fuck you, fuck you. Because I kind of was like, if this was her like ultimate like fuck you, burn everything down and like get back her life, go back to America, tell Faith that she's gonna love herself and fuck that person. Like, I would love it. I wouldn't know what you would do for the next like 4 episodes unless she's back in America, like truly dating, living it up, or if she found another person. But it's a hard watch to watch someone like hate themselves and go back to like someone who isn't into them. It's also be hard to watch when that person's a female, because I am. But also yeah, it does seem like Lisa might have like some other things happening, which I'm like, are we watching someone being taken advantage of? And more so than just being conned by a con man, yes. Also being used as like entertainment by a production team, maybe. And am I culpable? Sure. I can't quite remedy all that for you right now. But I want you to be aware that I'm aware of it. And we're all doing our best. There's parts of this show where I'm like, let's get back to like couples that feel uh safe within themselves. No, that's not it. Like, okay, I liked Greta and Matthew from last season. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're so boring," or whatever, but I liked it. Like, it seemed like it was real, like really real. And it also seemed smaller than like some of the other craziness we had, but like it wasn't less interesting to me. So, I mean, yeah, we can lean into that, please. All right, my loves. That is actually the end of the episode, but we are going to do all of the things that we usually do. I usually tell you at this point, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here. And thank you for spending like an hour and 15 minutes listening to my stupid ass voice. However, if you want to see more of me, or if you ever want to like follow me on social media or see fun things I create, or just like what I'm doing in my day stories, or I mean, my TikTok where I literally do minute recaps of pop culture stories as well as different 90-day memes and stuff, you can. I'm at Chris L. Farah, like I said, on TikTok. I am also on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, Chris Farah. I have a Facebook group, Vanity Farah. I have a Substack. It's Chris Farah. I have a Patreon. It's Chris Farah. Just kidding. Haha. Okay, so all of that exists. Let's breathe. You know why? Control our mind. I want to say this. The goal is to control our mind, but at the same time, it isn't like you're going to do it once and it's going to be done and you're not going to ever get it right for the rest of your life. But it's just the process and the continuation of the process. Because as you continue to train your mind, you continue to have a grasp of control of your mind. And if you don't, then your mind is just a monkey mind doing whatever the fuck it wants all the time. So, through the act of trying, you do. Does that make sense? Through the act of trying to control your mind, you do. It's just that time goes on and minds think. So don't be perfect about it. You don't have to remain in a perfect present state for long. It might not be, but if you do it once, you won. Isn't that great? Okay. Again, plant your feet on the floor, or if you're sitting, feel something. It can be with your butt on the seat. Of course, it can be your hand on the seat. Feel a sensory thing right now so that you know you're in the present moment in space and time. And then allow your mind to forget anything you're considering, like an embarrassing thing that happened in the past, or what you're going to eat tomorrow, or if you need to go to the supermarket, or how you're going to plan a drive, or if you're going to talk to someone about something. But instead, right now, you're with me. Thank you. Use my voice or your breath to give us both an opportunity to control our minds. So blow everything out and just, if you can, be here now with all of us. 2 breaths. Breathe in. Out. One more. How nice. Thank you. Thank you for spending some time with me. It's important that you take care of yourself. It's important that you can do that so you can, of course, take care of others. We're all connected in this world. And taking care of you means that you can show someone how to take better care of themselves, as well as if that person can't take care of themselves, you step in. How lovely. And then because you gave that person some strength, maybe when you don't have any, they'll give it back to you. And it's such a beautiful gift. So take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves and take care of someone else. Stand up for what you believe and make art. And I'll talk to you later. And I wish you the best. All right. Bye.